So we're back in the kitchen and we're going to start our baked beans right now. Overnight, I soaked a pound of beans. Now, traditionally, or usually, you can use pinto beans and navy beans, or navy beans, either or. In this case, I have pinto beans in my pantry, but I also have black beans as well too that I wanted to use. So this is going to be a little bit different. You can go either way. You can go whichever way you want. There's no right way or wrong way to do it. So these have been rinsed, soaked, and I'm going to put them into here. I'm going to add 6 cups of water. And after I add the water, then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, and 1 beef bouillon cube. Now, I don't have a bouillon cube per se, but I do have liquid bouillon, which I do have, shelf stable. I kind of like the flavor of it better because it's more concentrated. It's gluten free as well too, so my mother uses it. I'm gonna bring this up to a boil and then drop it down to a simmer, and you're gonna let this cook and simmer for about 3 hours. Once that's done, then you'll transfer all of this into an actual Dutch oven, and you'll cook the rest of the ingredients, fry your bacon up, saute your onions, add the rest of your spices and everything like that, and then you'll slow cook it from there. So in a way, this kind of speeds up the process. I've never done it this way before, where you parboil the beans ahead of time, but that's how this is going to go. While the beans are cooking, the next thing I'm going to do is we'll do the leg of lamb. That'll be a different video segment. But overnight, what I did with the leg of lamb is I did a dry herb rub with it, which would be equal parts of thyme, rosemary, and a little bit of mint as well too. You don't use as much mint because it's more powerful. Then you chop up some garlic and add some garlic, use olive oil as a binder. You rub that into it, you slice it and put your garlic cloves into it as well too. And then on top of that, what I've done is I did a yogurt marinade as well too. Now with the yogurt marinade, that's very Indian and Middle Eastern inspired. So I added lemon juice, some chimichurri, as well as some za'atar as well too, because it asks for dry herbs to be added to it. And I thought, oh, why not? Try these. Add some more garlic to it as well too, and use that as your binder on the exterior as well. So as a dry rub underneath and a yogurt sauce at the outside of it. I'll put that on the smoker and smoke it for about 3 hours at 225. I'll show you when I pull it out, and I'll explain it all over again if you don't watch this part of the video as well too. The beans have been sitting and simmering now for just about 2 hours. The recipe says between an hour and a half and 2 hours. And so the volume of water that's down here in the bottom has greatly reduced. You need to reserve at least a cup of the broth that's inside of here. So what I'm going to do is transfer these beans into a bowl so I can save the broth, and then I'm going to start cooking here inside of my Dutch oven. Now what I should do is I should warm up the oven to 375 so we can get that started. And once I get these beans transferred here, I'm going to switch places with this pot here and the Dutch oven. I'm going to cook my bacon down and render the fat out of it. Now, it calls for 6 slices of bacon. I have about a half a pound of bacon I'm going to use because I like the bacon ends. There's a lot of fatty pieces to it that will render out. So with that being said, there's some meat inside of there, and you can see them cut up behind me on the cutting board. I'm going to use that. I'll pull out the molasses, I'll pull out the dry mustard, I'll pull out the other spices I'm going to put into it as well too. And then once that's done, then we'll put it in the oven, and we'll let this bake in the oven for an additional hour and a half to 2 hours, and it should be done. So while that's baking in the oven, I will be also cooking the leg of lamb on the smoker as well too. All right, so that's taken care of. Let me get my measuring cup out here. And there's probably another cup of liquid here in the bottom, but I don't need that. So I'll put this off to the side. I'll bring my Dutch oven over here. We will preheat it, and then we will start frying the bacon in the bottom of this. Once this is preheated, we'll put the bacon in. I got onions and garlic already chopped up over here, and then we'll move forward. So I pulled all the ingredients out, and I got a long list of things here that's going to go into it. So I've got my molasses. I've got some mustard. I've got some dry mustard, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, apple cider vinegar, and I don't have brown sugar, but I do have jaggery. And jaggery is a great substitute for brown sugar if you don't have it. And for me, because I cook a lot of Asian food and some Thai and Malaysian dishes call for jaggery, I always keep it on hand. So I have that. And then back here, it calls for a tablespoon of rub. So I'm going to use my Dirty Bird rub from Cosmos because it's a sweet rub and not a savory rub in this case. So let's get started here with the bacon. The cast iron here is already preheated and it's nice and warm. We'll add our bacon. We'll cook our bacon for a couple of minutes, get all that fat rendered on it, and then I'm going to add the garlic and the onions. So, this is hickory smoke, and I get it from Imperfect Goods. I like this bacon because it's the bacon ends. It's got some nice fat pieces on it as well too. So if I'm cooking a dish like this that calls for rendered fat, this is perfect for it. Because I'll get plenty of rendered fat from out of these bacon pieces. The little bit of meat that's in here will also crisp up very nicely. And so it's a good pairing between the two. So once I'm done with this, I have to check the instructions, but I don't think I need to pull the bacon out. You just basically fry the bacon until it's crispy, and then you're going to add the onions to it. No need to pull it out. Don't even need to drain it either, because you're going to need the oil to cook the onions as well too. So let me continue to cook this up. It'll probably take about 5-6 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. There's a nice layer of oil down here in the bottom of the pan as it is. So that tells me that this is nice and hot as it's supposed to be, and I'll be back. So the bacon has been here rendering now for, I'd say, probably 10 minutes, give or take. The smaller pieces are nice and crispy. The larger pieces will probably still continue to cook as I add the onion. So I'm going to cook the onion for about 6 to 8 minutes, and I'm going to use my bench scraper here to move this stuff over. It's always nice to have a good bench scraper. So I'll get these so they're translucent, soft, and get a little bit of flavor out of the oil in the onions as well too. Stir this up, drop the heat down just a little bit because I had it on medium high for frying the bacon just to speed things up a little bit. And the oven I have is preheated. That's at 375 right now. And that's the temperature I'm going to leave it at while I continue to cook and I put these inside of here. So we'll let these render down, soften, get some color, turn translucent for about 6 minutes. So it's noon right now, so about 12:06, something along those lines. Not going to bore you with showing you how I cook this down. Most all of you know what rendering and cooking onions look like as well too, so won't do that. But I will say something about this. The beans that I simmered for 2 hours, the pinto beans have actually changed the molted color that they have and look like real pinto beans. And they're soft as well too. So this method worked out really well. And the flavor from the beef broth and the powdered onions infused nicely into these beans. So they got a really good flavor. Same thing goes with the black beans. Black beans have that flavor as well too. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. So something new for me to try for next time. Next time I make beans, something along those lines, I might try this method ahead of time. All right. The onions have been cooking now for about 6 minutes. So I'm going to add my garlic and let that saute for about a minute. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to compile the rest of my dry and wet ingredients as well too. So the recipe calls for a half a cup of molasses, a half a cup of ketchup, but I'm a little short on ketchup. So I'm going to add a little bit of tomato paste to this as well too, just to make up for the difference. So thankfully I get these nice little tubes of tomato paste from Italy. You can buy these on Amazon. Muti makes them. So let's get this in here, get these all stirred up. You don't want to burn your garlic either, because garlic, when it burns, doesn't taste very good. But you do want it to get soft. The minute you start smelling the garlic flavor, then that's ready to tell you, hey, next step comes in. So let's get this. Let's get the mustard in here. And then lastly, the molasses. And I buy these big things, mustard at Costco. They come in packs of 2. I save them for occasions like this because I make my own barbecue sauce, especially Carolina style barbecue sauce, which uses a lot of mustard. Or I could use the other Carolina barbecue sauce, which uses a lot of vinegar and tomatoes as well too. I guess it's the influence of my living in Georgia for as long as I did. All right, now, last but not least, molasses. And I have this much molasses because I make rye bread. And this was the cheapest option on Amazon. And I think at Costco as well too. It's like 2 pounds of molasses. And that'll last me a long time. All right. So there are those ingredients. Now, I need to add 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar and 3 tablespoons of... Oh, I need to add the brown sugar as well too. Half a cup of brown sugar. I had a little bit too much mustard, but I don't think it's going to ruin the recipe in all honesty. It's supposed to be a tablespoon of mustard, but that's half a cup. Not a big deal. It'll just add a little bit more of a twang to it, and it will have that Carolina flavor to it. All right, so Here's a half cup brown sugar. I'm going to add some dry mustard. It calls for a teaspoon. This is the last of my dry mustard that I have. Three tablespoons of Worcestershire. Let's get this shaken up. I'll add a little bit more. Two tablespoons of this. I'm gonna wash my spoon off because I gotta put the dry rub in there. Tablespoon of dry rub. We'll stir it up, add the beans. I should probably taste this as well too, since I added a little bit too much mustard. But in all honesty, because I like a Carolina style barbecue sauce more than anything else, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. Some of y'all might not like as much mustard in yours as I like in mine. So you can stick with the 2 tablespoons of mustard. For me, I don't really care. Oh yeah, that's got some zip to it, but I like it. This does. It's very reminiscent of a Carolina style barbecue. Oh yeah, it's good. Oh, yeah. So, in the beans go. Give it a nice stir. Turn this off. Add in a half cup of my liquid. Now, I'll check it in 30 minutes after it's been in the oven. If the liquid looks or appears too low, you add the other half a cup of liquid. If it looks like it's not dried out too much, just let it go. You don't need to add the rest of the liquid to it. Let's give this a taste. Oh yeah, it's got some nice tang to it. I like that. In fact, I'm glad I made that mistake of adding too much mustard to it. I like that zip that it's got to it. All right. Into the oven we go. And because this is cast iron and it's been sitting on the heat for a while, I know it's going to be hot. So, put on my gloves. And in we go. So, 30 minutes, then check for liquid content. If the liquid content looks right for you or the consistency looks right, don't need to add the rest of the liquid to it. Let it cook for another hour and a half and you should be good. The beans have been baking for about an hour and a half, which is about as long as you want them to bake for. I've turned the heat off. I'm going to pull them out of the oven. We're going to take a look at them. Ooh. Oh yeah, they look nice. So I'll pull the camera over here so you can take a look at them a little bit better. So they've got that nice caramelized color to it. All that molasses inside of there is doing it well. Nothing stuck to the bottom. Cast iron is doing its job. The fat from the bacon definitely did its job. Let me get a spoon here so I can tell you what this tastes like. I'm going to put the lid back on it in a minute. Yeah. By adding that little bit of extra mustard to this, oh yeah, that's really good. The bacon is crisp. The beans are done. The onions have that nice jelly flavor to it too. If you've ever had bacon jam before, it's exactly what this tastes like. I like how it turned out. It was really good. Now, the beans may have dried out just a little bit, but it's not horrible. You could add a little bit of liquid to it, but I probably won't. But I'm definitely very, very pleased with how this turned out. It's not overly spicy. It's definitely sweet. The sweet, salty, sour that goes into this because of the molasses, the brown sugar, the mustard, the vinegar, everything like that is a well-balanced and a very good baked bean. I'd definitely make this again.